Ryan.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Tommy O'Brien, coming to you live from TFNN. We kick things off 1 week before we get a Federal Reserve decision. How about that, right? We're coming into a second Trump presidency. 1 week from today, we have a Federal Reserve meeting. We have earnings going on. We got a great show ahead of ourselves. We have Sean Edwards from Direction. He's coming up after the first break. And let's get into the market action as we are positive S&Ps. How about it? Record territory. You know, it's interesting. I saw that ad during the break for Larry and talking about a red market. We made that ad like 14 days ago, and the S&Ps were approaching 5% off the all-time highs. We've had quite a turnaround. S&Ps, we make an all-time high today. We're up by 0.8%, up 46 points at 61.31 right now. You have tech stocks surging higher as well. NASDAQ 100 up almost 1.5%, 316 points in the green, 22,027. Dow up 166. How about 44,404 as I come to you? And the Russell slightly in the red this morning. Now, checking out the dollar because we've had some swings, right? Yesterday's election, of course. Yesterday's election. Monday's inauguration, of course. You get the first hints that maybe the tariffs aren't coming as expected. We have a press conference Monday night. We accelerate back up. From the market for right now, they're waiting. The tariffs haven't come. We have the dollar at 108 from 110. And at least from a market perspective, when you look at the potential for Mexico, Canada, China, not quite yet. Negotiation continues, and the market's okay with that. As we hit 107.75 in the pre-market in the dollar, we're sitting at 108.14, and that is part of the reason that you have gold challenging all-time highs, as we're only $26 above from that 2,800 price point. All things considered, when you look at the run that we've had in the dollar, as I mentioned, from 100, remarkable. All right, speaking of remarkable, how about Netflix? Big numbers from Netflix, as I talked about at the top of the hour there. But, yeah, we're giving up some of the gains, but you're still up almost 9.8%, $85 in the positive. You want to hear something remarkable, though, folks? The options market, okay, we were looking at this yesterday. Think Netflix had something like a $75 move priced in either direction, something like that. So, yes, larger than expected, and maybe that's part of the reason that you have people taking some profits off the table to the upside with the type of move that you got. But nonetheless, up almost 10% for Netflix. We jump over the headline. Now, how about this? They went out with a bang. This is the last quarter that they're going to get customer updates. And you want to see what that last quarter looked like? 19 million is the number there. Quite a number, right? You had Squid Game. You had, it's amazing. They call it the Jake Paul fight. It was the Mike Tyson fight. They're calling it the Jake Paul fight. He was the winner, and he put that together in terms of, I think, how that plays out. But nonetheless, big numbers. Where do they go forward? They're raising prices. They're raising prices across the board in most markets, but the U.S. included. Some of the prices, they're going up. They haven't raised prices since 2022. And yeah, you're talking about from $15.99, I think, or something there, $1.50, $2 across the board. But they said that they've been raising prices. They've gone smoothly, and it was kind of a Goldilocks scenario. Yeah, as you're up 15%, but nonetheless, you give it back. How about $9.40? And you put this thing on a weekly. Talked about this. Breaking away from its uptrend channel on Netflix shares, right? Check that out. That's going from the lows of 2022, okay, 162.71. And you break out of that channel to the upside, you pull back, you test it, you're trading it. And how about that high? $9.99 for Netflix shares. All right, other equities with their numbers. Johnson & Johnson down by about 2.5%, as I mentioned. Abbott up 0.8% right now on their numbers. And how about the AI acceleration, man? You had Larry Ellison. You had Masayoshi-san of SoftBank. Larry Ellison of Oracle, of course. And OpenAI, Sam Altman, all at the White House yesterday talking about the new AI infrastructure bill. And check it out, right? I was talking about this morning. Oracle was at 163 yesterday. We opened at 193 today. Remarkable acceleration, but they're all catching a bid on that news. Microsoft up almost 4%, continuing to accelerate there. Yeah, strong numbers. Across the board, too. Look at Amazon, up by 1.3% right now. Google shares, they give back some of those gains. Google flat on the session. Tesla with a little volatility right now, down by 1.3%. They slid lower yesterday with the market. Still sitting relatively close to Elon's number, 420. We're sitting at 418.63 right now for Tesla shares. We jump around to some of the banks. JP Morgan sitting at 263. Bank of America this morning, down by 1.4% for them. And let's check out that gold contract briefly. So gold. Yeah, you take a look at gold. And look at the move we've had twice, right? The huge acceleration on a longer-term basis. But what's so remarkable is you back this up on a weekly, you put it with the dollar. And man, this run that the dollar had from September, the way that gold has performed, if we ever get a pullback, man, you are going to have the wind at your backs in that gold contract, considering how well we've held up. And the pressure right now is to the downside in the dollar, as we priced in a lot of tariff volatility, and February 1st gets talked about. But it seems like the market's okay with what's going on right now, and they probably should be. As there's some pause, there's going to be a study, right? They're going to study the tariffs. They're going to come February 1st, and we'll find out where we go. Nonetheless, dollar at 108.15 right now. And crude on drill, baby, drill, we pulled back a little bit. Yeah, all the way up to $80 last week, and we're trading right now at 75.47, right near the lows of yesterday, which were at about 75.05. All right, what else we got pulled up here in terms of talking about articles? What do we got? Yeah, we talk Trump, we talk Elon, and how about the weather? We got to talk about that, man. I'm living in Florida. It was 42 degrees this morning. I think it's going to be 32 at some point in the next couple days. And if you haven't seen the pictures of whether you're talking about that panhandle, right, in Florida, 7 inches of snow in some areas. So, remarkable. Yeah, and we got Davos going on too. Jamie Dimon, he's saying stocks might be a little bit inflated. He's been saying that for some time, though. Asset prices are kind of inflated. Interesting from the guy running the biggest bank in the world, and a very intelligent gentleman when he talks about stocks being inflated. And what he talks about in here, okay, he talks about a lot because he's in Davos. He talks about policies as well. Yeah, and here it is. You need a fairly good outcome to justify those prices, right? Stock prices, equity, they are priced for a lot of optimism right now. Will that happen? Yeah, totally. But you better believe that they are priced for a lot of fairly good outcomes to justify those prices. As he puts it, I think having a pro-growth strategies helps make that happen. But there are negatives out there, and they can surprise you. So keep those spikes up on your back, right? JP Morgan, as I mentioned, sitting almost flat today, up by 0.1%. But how about that chart on a longer-term basis? From 100 to 263 in just over a couple years. All right, folks, stay tuned. We're coming back with Sean Edwards, Vice President with Direction. We'll be right back. Stay tuned.